Where'd I go? How long was I out? I need to make YouTube videos. I need to make YouTube videos!
Well now, it's certainly been a while since I've made one of these, hasn't it? In fact, it's been a while since I've made any kind of a video. How's everyone doing? Are you all doing well? I'm doing well. So well, in fact, I might just have to do a review of Ib, an RPG Maker game that everyone's been wanting me to cover since Yume Nikki, which still stands as like the bestest, weirdest, best weird game I've ever played. Ib is a game that's actually quite similar to Yume Nikki. It's dark, it's minimal, it's surreal, and it's absolutely coated in wonderful pixel art, which I bloody fucking love. As you're all no doubt aware, I'm way into the RPG Maker scene. I like RPG Maker, and I like RPG Maker games, even though half of them usually tend to be absolute garbage. See, RPG Maker, it's an interesting little beast. No, it's not a very sophisticated tool for game design. It's really simple, dense in theory, and it might be a little too basic and a little too cookie cutter for anyone interested in legitimate programming. But if you're just someone who wants to tell a story, or, I don't know, make an RPG, there are actually a lot of cool things you can do with RPG Maker. If you think outside the box, you can be original, you can be inventive, and there are a lot of good examples of that. There's Off, there's Yume Nikki, there's Flow, The Crooked Man, It Moves, Mad Father, and of course, there's Ib. So for anyone who doesn't know, Ib is a surreal 2D indie horror game released in 2012 by a developer named Cory, or Cowrie, or Kuri, I don't know. And on the internet, it's about as famous and well known as Yume Nikki. So it's not really much of a hidden game. We're doing such a good job with this show, guys. We're introducing people to so many games they've never heard of before. Yay. Anyway, Ib is a game I've been wanting to cover ever since I first played it. This is an insanely creative horror game, and it's among the finest to ever come out of RPG Maker. It's one of those games that prides itself on being creepy and weird, rather than just scary, which in my opinion is a lot more interesting. I like games that are haunting and memorable, much more so than games that try to just flat out frighten or disgust me. And haunting and memorable is what makes Ib so special. In Ib, you play as a shy little 9-year-old girl with blood-red eyes, named Ib. I don't know why Ib has blood-red eyes, by the way. It's, never really explained. Kinda creepy. In the game, Ib is out on a day trip visiting an art gallery with her parents, and that's sort of the premise. At the beginning, the game sets you free to just explore. You can wander around the art gallery, you can talk to people, and you can examine all the paintings and sculptures lying around the building. But then, after a while, something weird starts to happen. All of a sudden, the gallery starts to go dark. The people start to disappear. And as you continue to walk around, you start to see strange things out the corner of your eye. That painting just coughed. No dear. Oh, fridge magnets. That's not good.
Oh.
At this point, it's clear there's no way out of the gallery. You're trapped, and you have no choice but to venture deeper into the unknown. As you press on, the game gets more tantalizing and surreal. Paintings on the wall start to move, inanimate sculptures come to life and stalk you, and the wallpaper gets a little handsy. So Ib is basically a survival horror game, with gameplay centered mostly around exploring and puzzle solving. The whole game takes place in the haunted art gallery, and that setting alone gives it one hell of a personality. Now, if you haven't played Ib, you should stop watching this video right now, because I'm about to spoil quite a bit. In fact, I might just spoil everything. Like, seriously, spoiler alert. Go play the game, if you haven't already. Okay? Okay. In all honesty, if I had to think of a game that Ib had the most in common with, it actually wouldn't be Yume Nikki. No, not at all. It may be as surreal as Yume Nikki, and it has the same kind of creepy, bizarre appeal, but like I've said before, I don't really consider Yume Nikki a horror game. No, that game's just strange. The only thing you can really compare Yume Nikki to is LSD Dream Emulator. But Ib? Ib actually has much more in common with The Witch's House, another RPG Maker horror game that came out, apparently, in the exact same year. The Witch's House is straight up fun, spooky horror. It's the same as Ib, where you walk around, examine things, and solve puzzles. And in both games, you can actually die. But the difference between Ib and The Witch's House is that The Witch's House is just fun. It's a really good game, with fun puzzles and a lot of crazy jump scares. But Ib, on the other hand, is something more. It's a deeper game. It has more memorable moments, more ingenious ideas. At any point in Ib, you can be examining strange paintings, wondering what they mean. You can be navigating a labyrinth full of living sculptures that'll close you off and trap you if you aren't careful. In one of my favorite parts of the game, you actually leave the setting of the gallery and journey into a crayon landscape, where everything is blurry, scribbled, and hand-drawn. I mean, this game just doesn't get boring. It's phenomenal for a free game made by only one person. And the setting, God, the setting. Okay, I know this game doesn't exactly look that good. I mean, the pixel art is kind of blurry. It's sort of hazy and hard to make out. But to me, that just adds to the weirdness of it all. The pixel art may not be amazing, but I have no problem with that. The world it creates is just extraordinary. The massive art gallery that changes, grows, and shifts as you explore it, this setting just stuck with me. I had that feeling after I played it where I didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be in the art gallery, be lost in it, be wandering around its corridors forever. This is a place that's just fun to explore. It's curious and inviting, but you never really feel safe inside it. That's another great thing about Ib. The way it scares you. Now, I wouldn't exactly call this game very scary. I mean, in some ways, it's about as scary as Luigi's Mansion. But you know what I like about it? Whenever it tries to scare you, it does it in the name of creativity. There aren't just a bunch of gross outs, jumps, and screams. Ib gives you scares to remember. Like, you know that part where you're trapped in that room of voodoo dolls? And there's a time limit? And that giant menacing thing is slowly crawling out from the portrait above you? I mean, God, that's gotta be one of my favorite moments from any horror game. And hell, even just the simple little creepy things. Like when paintings leap off the wall and start crawling towards you. Or, I don't know, when things like this happen. I guess if I had to criticize something about Ib, it would be the fact that there are other characters in it, and they have dialogue.
Ib, are you okay? Sorry I'm late. Ugh, I feel like I'm being watched in this room. Talk about unsettling. Ugh, you gotta be pretty clever to come up with this stuff.
Okay. I know a lot of people really love the characters in Ib, and I guess I understand. I mean, you do sort of get attached to them, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them as the game progresses. But still, these characters, they're just such stereotypical anime characters. They don't talk like normal people, and their dialogue, for me, wasn't very well written, and it didn't make the game any more dramatic. In fact, it just made it more silly. Especially the blonde girl.
Gary, you're just a weirdo. I like yellow, but I also like pink. Oh, and blue. Cookies, and cake, and chocolate. Teehee, so much to eat.
Oh, also, what's with these characters' designs? I mean, Ib's design is weird enough, with the blood red eyes and all. But, like, there's this part where she and Gary stand in front of a mirror and you can see their whole bodies. And God, just look at these characters. What the hell is that? Have you ever seen anyone dress like that? Have you ever seen anyone who looks like that? Well, whatever. I guess I like to dress like a weirdo. Gary can be a weirdo too. Good on him, I guess.
I'm Ib, and I have the devil living inside me.
Also, I guess the characters do make the story more engaging. Probably the best thing about Ib, in the end, is the fact that the story is so peculiar, strange, and questionable. It leaves you walking away thinking about it, wondering what it all meant. The ending especially is very weird. In fact, there are actually 10 different endings, believe it or not, and every single one of them is, I don't know, just weird. If I had to pick my favorite ending, for those of you who've seen them all, it would actually probably be the one where she climbs into bed and dies, slowly disappearing from all existence. And shit, that's not even the good ending. That's like probably the worst one. But hey, what can I say? I like death. It fascinates me. It enraptures me. It grooves my vibes. Yeah. So, yes, that's about all I have to say. I mean, what else can I say? Ib is a great game. It has my full approval. This is a freeware indie game that puts all other freeware indie games to shame. I mean, it just proves everything. It proves that 2D games can be scary. It proves that a developer can do anything he or she wants, despite any limitations. It proves that a horror game doesn't need a big budget to be interesting. And while there certainly are other RPG Maker games that are much deeper and even more cryptic than Ib, like Off by Mortis Ghost, which we'll definitely have to review in the future, Ib is still a fantastic little game, and I can't picture it being improved much at all. It's fun, it's creepy, it's imaginative, it's emotional, it's investing, it's freaking Ib. Basement worthy. Hey everyone, and thank you guys for watching this episode of Hidden Games. Resident Evil month is the longest month in the world, and it's not over. You'll see. Just be patient, shit. Right now, I'd like to take a moment to thank my top supporters on Patreon. WanderGirl108, Jose Garcia, Kira Dude, Nathan Stapleton, Xantippe Pink, Delta Dellis, Noah Vilgrain, Twinblade Mel, Duncan, and Amanda Johnson. I love you all so much I could kiss you with my teeth.